I have given myself a predicament. I don't know how far the gym is, but it's definitely not 12 miles away. Oh, 11. Running low. I'm not one to like see a quarter tank and say let's go fill up. It's usually, do it when necessary. But I can make it. I'll save that refuel for the trip back. I don't want to delay the start of this hamstring morning pump. Hamstrings and a touch of calves, but hamstrings being the primary part. So the reason for that, and I'll even get comments. You're doing a whole trip to the gym just for hamstrings? What are you, nuts? Look, man, personally I don't think so, but I understand the lack of hype. It's subjective, like it's just our opinions, but it's basically objective. Chest is cooler than hamstrings. Arms are cooler than hamstrings. I won't disagree with you there. I think I have an even respect for every muscle group, so I would never slack on one just because I don't really like it or anything like that, because I want, overall systemic growth. I'm at least now I'm not the type of guy to say it's like, you know what, man, legs, who cares? There's guys out there, it's a real logic, and honestly, whatever. I like having big legs, so I'm gonna hit legs. But if you couldn't care less, I guess go for the torso build. Whatever. It's your time and energy to spend. Do it how you want. But I can understand the logic of not wanting to come in and just do hamstrings. But it's just part of the deal, right? If you're gonna do some cool stuff like hit a side chest with hamstrings to kind of pop out from the bottom, you got to do hamstrings, right? Or if you want your rear delts to kind of roll over on the side and the side chest too, you got to do rear delts. You got to at least. Now, obviously, I haven't done a ton of rear delts over the last couple of years, just because my shoulders have gotten like big enough. Like they're relative to the rest of me, shoulders are a little bit ahead of the game. So I want everything else to catch up and get like built around them. But that's the stuff that most people wouldn't do. That's the small chapters that guys don't study for, and then come test day, the scores will reflect that. If you kind of follow what I'm saying. But we'll see what I end up doing. Dieting, I usually lean away from hip hinging movements like RDLs, be it dumbbell, Smith machine, whatever. I'll throw some in every so often, like light squeezing, but it's, you get glute, you get lower back. It's just, I want to get straight to the muscle at hand now that I'm dieting down, just trying to stimulate and then hit nothing else. I just got a comment because I'm going to do a Q&A after this. I'm going to go sit up on the couch setup in the second level and go through a bunch. I think I screenshotted like 30 or 40 good questions. But I guess I'll answer one earlier. I'll probably just answer the same one again later. But the guy basically said, what are your thoughts on a different version of the split that I do? So I do legs, chest, back, arms, shoulders, sporadic, rest days when necessary, and then repeat. So his comment basically said, every time I do that, my arms are super sore. Why wouldn't you do legs, arms, chest, back? And then, so arms is first in that like upper body section. I guess the idea would be to do chest and back on the days before arms. The residual activation of tricep and bicep got, the guy's arms already kind of pre-worked. And that's actually a pretty decent point. So if that's how you feel, then yeah, swap it out with the other two. But for me, especially dieting, now that I'm going a bit lighter, I'm not doing as much like super heavy barbell bench. I'm not doing any heavy barbell benching, incline or otherwise. And on back, I'm not going like super wild heavy either. It's pretty, not easy, but it's a lot easier for me to just leave, pumped in my targeted area. So if I go in to do, I'm going in to do chest tomorrow morning, I'm not going to have much of a tricep pump because all the chest movements I'm going to do, not only are they very, chest isolating, but, I'm kind of actively trying not to use my triceps in these presses. I just want to feel my, feel my pecs fire, and that's all. Same with back, right? That's why I'm using straps, so I don't have to send any signals down my arm into my hands to really hold on tight, because when you do that, then you're going to get forearm, you're going to get extra bicep. So with the straps, you lock in, your hand just acts as a hook, so you don't have to send so many signals. You can just really focus on your lats. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's kind of, I don't want to say, I'm not saying skill issue in like a mean way, but the better you get at, maybe not mind-muscle connection, but just targeting the specific muscle that you're working and nothing else, like really getting better at isolating it, then hitting certain workouts after one another becomes a lot more interchangeable, because only one muscle, the targeted one, should be sore after that last day. So anything else you do, you should be good. Some stuff you can't avoid, like I wouldn't want to do a really crazy back day right before a really heavy quad-based leg day, because if I'm going to do any kind of back-loaded squat or Smith machine squat or whatever, I wouldn't want my back to have just been worked, because that's going to, be involved in the movement. But for the most part, I could kind of do whatever. There's one more question too about just changing your workout splits in general, and it's like, how much benefit am I going to get if I switch from push-pull legs to the Arnold split, or if I switch from upper body, lower, or upper lower full body? Like, honestly, I don't think a ton. I think it's something where it feels good to change a workout split if you can tell what you've been doing is getting really repetitive. But honestly, I don't really feel like I get tired of my split. I feel like I've been doing the same loop, almost these whole past 3 years. Not exactly the same, it gets changed up every so often, but for me, that 4-day repeat, I can still hit quads back to back, at least bulking up. It's enough time where I don't get a lot of shoulder kind of tweaks or anything, and I always feel like I'm coming back the next day not tender from the workout that I had just hit before. So instead of push-pull legs, hitting everything in 6 days, the legs, chest, back, arms, now, in my case, no shoulders, that's hitting everything twice every 8 days. So a little bit more delayed, but, it's not like a hitting something once a week bro split kind of logic. But I think what is a little more important in terms of keeping the workouts interesting and not getting bored and not feeling like what you're doing is really repetitive, is the workouts themselves. Are you doing the exact same lift every chest day? Are you doing the exact same, pull downs, rows, pullover, whatever combo that you've been doing since you were a beginner that just clicked for you? Because I don't think I'll ever get tired of legs, chest, back, arms. But I would definitely get tired of the exact same lift every loop on freaking repeat. That would probably get a little bit freaking repetitive, or a lot of bit repetitive. So just by changing it up, throwing in different workouts, make it a heavy day, make it a light day, maybe do more kind of pump work, do a little whatever, whatever pump work means. And just keep it interesting, right? And if you can tell that you haven't been keeping it interesting, just watch somebody's workout. Don't even worry about the specifics. Just copy whatever they did. Maybe look up a crazy Larry Wheels chest day, or go back a little while, watch some Callum von Moger chest days. Those were honestly, that was peak motivation for me when I was younger. That was not to discontinue this ramble, but if you go, so the video was Gold's at Chest at Gold's Gym. This was a couple months ago. So me and Mark, we went down, so we were at Venice, and it was surreal, because all the old Callum videos were in, they were in Gold's, and I was doing 365 on an incline, and I remember thinking at the time that I watched a video of him do 365, I was like, holy crap, It's fucking crazy. So, just kind of a cool little reflection for me. But yeah, no more talking. I'll scan through a couple other comments on the way back so we can get some kind of separate discussion on the drive on the return. But yeah, I think probably, not to say 6, 7, but probably 6 or 7 sets, laying curls, seated curls, and then probably standing backwards facing curls on a leg extension. If you've never done that before, I think that's kind of slept on. It's not like insane, but if you've never done it before, it is way different, So let's say your gym, maybe the leg curl is broken, maybe it's packed full of like 5 dudes all working in. They're going to be there for 30 minutes. Sometimes you gotta think outside the box, use some other machines for some other purposes. So let's just stop talking about it and go get started. No need for anything wild. Let's just start with a light-ish laying curl. So I can go a little heavier than the 60. Let's do 70 pounds. This stack goes up to 150, and it's a very heavy 150. Honestly, out of all the laying curls I've ever used, this is definitely the heaviest one. I don't think I've ever done a full stack set. Maybe once, like last off season, but this will be good. So half of what I'm thinking with my hamstring training is kind of similar with triceps. So I like the feeling of a lighter squeeze a lot more now. In my mind, it used to be like, okay, heavy as possible, 10 reps, just, as much tension as I can get, which in an off season, trying to gain size and strength, I lean a little bit more that way. But dieting, all I need is a really good hamstring pump. So I'm going to do that by getting, 5, 6-ish solid sets, not too heavy, because I've got a risk factor now that I'm dieting, not as strong. Plus, I'm just not more brittle is not the right word, but when you're in a calorie deficit, your recovery is a little more precarious. So, if I were to throw around weight like I normally do in off season, I could be asking for trouble. So, leaning a little lighter, squeezing. It's a safe move. Well, not even safe move, just a good move. But let's get this one started. All right. All right. Okay, yeah. Let's do one more like that. 80 instead of 70. But that was good. Yeah, same thing. So, I've said this a few times. I'll reiterate it for, reiteration's sake. But I really think that there's a big difference in just a regular set, rep, whatever, and doing one where at the top of every rep, especially for like a squeezing set like this, you give it a little extra juice. Like you really squeeze. You're not doing any work, because work is force over distance. So if you're already at the top of the range of motion, and then you really squeeze, it's not like you're moving the weight anymore, but you are achieving a higher inner tension, which, not to, because the actual specific nature of it, whatever, but I have the best pumps, and I feel like I have the best lifts when I'm really intentional about every rep. Obviously, the partials at the end get a little nasty, but the main ones, I really want to bring it. Like I'm trying to fold my leg in half, further than it'll actually go. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's go grab the leg extension. I need a little bit of like a booster seat, but I'll show you in a second. All right, so here's the setup. Lightweight, only 40 pounds. Seats, well, I guess the seat adjustment doesn't really matter. And then I've got a 45 and a 25. Honestly, I think I might want to get some bumper plates in here. One 45-pound bumper would be perfect. But when I stand on this little step, it puts my legs a bit higher up, so my knee is a little closer to where this whole thing like pivots from, just so it's kind of a more natural sort of deal. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the gist. So I'm going to alternate 5 reps on either side till maybe not exactly failure, but at least till I'm fully pumped. And I can't really explain any better than just saying it feels good. So I guess that's all I can really say. If you got the setup, I'd check it out. There we go. Yeah, I'll add a 5. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, one more of those. So it doesn't look as, like, I know it kind of looks a little silly, but this really does feel solid. One more, maybe a seated curl, and we're getting close. Okay. So, yeah, I think honestly one good set of seated curls will be all that I need. So, let me make sure this setup is, yeah, there we go. So, historically, not as much lately, but like, you know, years 1 through 2 of all these videos, so like a year ago and before, I don't even know if I went under 200 pounds in this stack. And not like that was a good thing. Like in my mind, I'm just saying, okay, shit. Well, I want high mechanical tension for that, you know, hypertrophic stimulation. I better go as heavy as possible every time. and I've pulled my hamstring really good on this exact machine. So I still think a heavy set is good, but there's a place. There's a place for a full-on haymaker, and for more of like kind of defensive, like, not that I have any boxing skill, but just imagine that idea, right? Sometimes you gotta go back and forth. So I think those lane curls and those standing reverse curls were definitely lighter squeezing. The standing curl is a little heavier, so I'm going to make this one a little more kind of in between. So 200 pounds on the stack out of the 300, or 295, but whatever. So that's light enough I can squeeze it for a couple, but it's still heavy enough that it's heavy. That's a good description of all the weight that I'm hitting while I'm dieting. Like, I want to feel it, but I don't want it to hurt me. It's a perfect situation. All right. Okay. Ooh. 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 Okay. Yeah, that's all. Let's freaking post down. Whew. All right. Yeah. Normally, off season, morning workouts, that's only a when necessary, or on a necessary basis. But when I'm dieting, I mean, I'm never going to be full of carbs pumped. Like, I'm only eating 200 a day. Like, off season, 200, not 200, more like 300. But like 250 like grams of carbs, that's a meal. Like, that's part of a big meal, So if I'm already not going to be full of carbs, I'd almost rather just hit a morning lift so that it's solid. I'm still kind of fresh from a full night's rest. And then I get the rest of the day to just focus on not going over my limit. Plus, I've still got 2 sessions of cardio. So I've got 30 minutes now, and then I'll either come back or just go in the basement on the old bike and bust out the next 30 minutes. But let's see how we're looking. So quads unpumped, like they might have some residual blood flow just from hamstrings being worked. Ooh, I gotta do pants or shoes out of the pants. I look like a freaking idiot doing it. But yeah, here we go. So honestly, this is every leg day or every leg pose down is making me more freaking excited for what is coming next. Because, I mean, obviously in cool lighting, they look extra cool, but, ooh, I mean, there's some shit going on. That's for sure. Let me try to do a real kind of breath hold. Oh my gosh. And we're not even, actually, yeah, we're about halfway through the diet, but still halfway to have like this level of not only separation, but I feel like after this last off season, my outer quads got a bit extra, or a little bit of extra thickness, especially this one. I think doing a lot more leg pressing helped me with that. But let's adjust the angle a touch. Yeah, no, this is, and hamstrings are supposed to be the star of the show today, but quads are really freaking overpowering them. So let's just hit a few more. Oh, goodness. I mean, that's some pretty substantial freaking quad thickness. Even a hint of, not exactly, well, almost feathering. So I've got it good over here. So look at this sort of portion, outer quad. Like right now it's smooth, unflexed, But see these like lines kind of crawling across them, even a little bit on like the teardrop. That's what I want to see. So the leaner that I get, the more prominent that grain will become. And then, well, obviously I don't even have to say it, but the freak factor will just continue to scale. So yeah, no, I'm happy about this. But hamstring's done. Not exactly the flashiest lift, but that's all right. So now I've got 30 minutes of pedaling, which hamstrings aren't really involved in the effort of the cardio bike. So I don't have to worry about like over exerting them after the lift. I wouldn't do post-workout cardio immediately after hitting quads, but hamstrings, shit, man. If you skip post-workout cardio and you said you were going to do it, you're skipping it for no freaking reason. So I'm going to go sit up there, then I'll see you in the car. All right. Yeah, there we go. Just freaking remember, there's nothing to it, right, but to freaking do it. And I'm gonna describe a person, or at least a person with a certain headspace, and I'd like to know, like, actually, if you've ever talked with someone like this before, or like heard them say this kind of stuff. You know, like maybe you're talking to somebody about how they should do, you know, maybe get into some cardio, and you don't even bring it up. It's like someone says this, like they'll like, yeah, you know, I should probably start working out again, or and it's excuse spewing, like an insane amount of, well, you know, I just can't, I just don't know, man. Not everybody can do your cardio. Not everybody can do cardio like that, man. You know, it's just like, I've never heard anyone say this in person. The conversation has not arose, but I see the comments. Dude, come on, I got a thyroid thing. All right, man. All right, don't count your calories. Don't do your cardio. Do whatever you want. Go have an instant mac and cheese for breakfast and enjoy. Which I'm not exactly hating on that. I wouldn't be surprised if I would bust out a mac and cheese for breakfast, you know. But that's within the context of, you know, busting out some physical freaking feats of cardio, feats of lifts. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see the drawback. Of course, that's going to be my take because I love working out. But I really don't see how it takes away from anybody's day or anybody's just overall enjoyment of life, you know. Make it a 30-minute after work on your way home, morning, whatever. Just a little something, you know. And I think the best part about it is not even the results. The results are cool, obviously. Like I am definitely motivated by like hitting a little every time I see my reflection, like, ooh, I'm kind of just like little things like that. That's not the primary motivator. It doesn't hurt. But it's more so of this kind of very secure feeling of, I did it. I said I was going to do this thing. I am doing it. I'm sticking to some goals that I've given myself, and they're not incredibly easy, so it's a bit of a challenge, and I'm proving that I can still do it. You know, I think that's probably the biggest differentiator between, you know, man and the animal kingdom, is the ability to enact delayed gratification. Oh, man. I'm trying to diet down. I want to be leaner. All right, I'm not going to stop at Crumble. I'm not going to stop and get a Krispy Kreme. I'm not going to, you know, insert whatever your full-on cheat food of choice is. I'm not going to eat a quart of vanilla cream swirl. I'm not going to do it. You know? And some people really can't do it. It's like they just the idea of telling themselves no, they don't have this inner calculation of, okay, this is because I have a greater goal of something else, which I'm going to enjoy in the future. And I guess that's kind of classic, not even just the United States, but just like classic world view. I mean, it's straight up like, Like the idea of credit versus debit. You know, man, I want it now. I don't want to have to work for it. I want it right freaking now. You know, the only reason I say that is because I've been watching a bunch of Caleb Hammer. I watch too many of them. I can't. They're like, they get so bad. I just can't keep watching. But yeah, it's separate yourself in the crowd. In a world full of I wants, in a world of I gets and I deserves, right? To be the guy who says I'm gonna get, or whatever version of that phrase makes the most sense, because after a year, right? I mean, everybody has at least a similar baseline motivation. I think everybody would love to be in shape. I've said this probably 50 times. So I'm gonna say it another 100. There's, imagine I'm talking magic situation. I'm talking genie in a lamp kind of deal, where it's, dude, look, no tricks. You got 3 wishes, but one of them has to be that you get in good shape. Are you okay with that? No one's going to turn that deal down. Absolutely no one. Not in a million years is anybody going to turn that down. But as soon as we enter the real world of, all right, you actually can still do that. It's not something you have to wish for. You could do it. It's going to take a little while, and it's going to be kind of hard. That's where, that's where the line dissipates. Once you got to do it, nobody really cares. So that's take with that what you will. But I guess if you're watching this, then you are doing it. So you're not the kind of guy who'd be slacking like that. So I guess this is we're just doing a little bit of like a gossip on all the freaking posers out there who say they want to work out but don't really do it. Yeah, the door is open. The door is absolutely open. So as kind of blunt as I just said that, the gym will always accommodate new members. There is no chance in freaking whatever that you're not going to be able to get a gym membership somewhere. And we're about to see that too. Come just barely over a month from now. Every gym is going to be packed to the gills, either by guys who kind of got out of the groove or totally new blood. So let's just say there's going to be a lot of energy in your rec center. There's going to be a lot of energy in your YMCA. So make sure to make use of it is probably my best tip. But I think nothing else to say there. Solid hamstring pump. I feel like my quads unpumped are starting to look nuts. So the leaner I get and the more of this like sub-skin over the muscle fat layer starts to thin out, more detail and more grain of my quads will like start kind of revealing itself. And my quads aren't growing. They're not getting any bigger. If anything, they're gradually shrinking a little bit just because I'm holding on to less muscle glycogen. I don't think I'm burning through any muscle tissue, like rhabdomyolysis, rhabdo whatever kind of style. But if anything, over the course of these next few weeks, my quads are going to get a little bit smaller. But the increase in detail and separation and just overall cuts will make them look bigger. And so the leanness effect will begin to be enacted. But I think there's nothing else to say. So I will see you for quite a wild chest pump tomorrow morning. I'm already freaking getting excited about it.